also work to ensure that everybody has access to healthcare in a number of ways, because we know that cancer incidences are affected by so many aspects of our well-being and our health. So we want to make sure that everybody can get access to screenings, to prevention programs, and whatever might be recommended. And we also do a lot of work with tobacco control, since we know that that has a huge, huge impact. And one of the things that is so important in our work that we need to be able to bring this message to our lawmakers are stories. Every one of you here is here for a reason, and it might be that you just really like dinosaurs and you want to see what's out there, but I'm guessing there might be a little bit deeper feeling for you. And so the survivors who are here, you have a story, and it is powerful. We meet with our legislators. We can talk for hours about statistics and numbers and what the population looks like, but the story of what your treatment looked like, or your experience, or your caregiver's experience, the impact that it had on you, that is what sells our message, and that's what is remembered. So I invite all of you survivors. ACS Can is located almost directly behind us, the blue tablecloth. We have a program called Survivor Views that gives you an opportunity to share your story. And we use those stories when we talk with folks. And you're going to hear an amazing story from two amazing people of their journey. And it's different from your journey, and it's different from your journey. And we want to know how this is affecting you so that we can bring your power. Because your voice is your power. It's your strength. That is what we take to the fight. So I'm so excited for our speakers. Please stop by, say a word to me. I'd love to hear your story and see how we can get it out there, because as Richard says in the opening, this does not end at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. I have a meeting next week that we'll be talking about what we're doing, where we will be bringing this every single day of every single year. So we want your stories. We want to hear from you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Melissa. We are privileged to have Melissa fighting on our behalf, especially when it comes to going to Montpelier and to Washington. So she has been a wonderful advocate. We appreciate all of her hard work. So thank you very much,
Off
Melissa.
at college, I visualized and closed my eyes and put myself there. I could feel it, see it, hear it. I surrounded myself with love and let it fill my heart. But still, the uncertainty was so heavy, it was hard to take a deep breath. The scan that was supposed to show improvement actually showed that another round of chemo was needed. The scan that was supposed to show the surgeon the path to removing the tumor is instead a phone call from the doctor to their father and I, with concern that disease had spread to their lungs. No certainty. No promises, no solid ground. So, I was a mom. I showed up, medication schedules, hospital stays, hydration status, pain control, symptom monitoring. I climbed into that hospital bed and held that child so tight. I did everything in my power to take the hurt away, and if I could have stolen the cancer out of their body and put it in mine, I would have in a heartbeat, just like any parent would. And you know what? I was still free floating. No ground under me. No guarantees. No promises. Life is so inconvenient sometimes. If cancer is our evil villain, fear is its superpower. And there is no greater terror than not knowing. Not knowing if your child is going to have the opportunity to live their fullest life. I actually remember standing in my backyard, and this is true, head raised to the sky, arms spread wide, pleading for answers, bargaining for answers. I'd do anything for solid ground. But this is where I was actually mistaken. In all of my podcast listening about gratitude and love, and all my self-reflection, I had this idea that if I worked hard enough to just be my best self, I would never be thrown out of the nest again. There would always be solid ground to stand on. I just had to love more and be more thankful. To quote Pema Chodron again, we think that the point is to pass the test or to overcome the problem, but the truth is that things don't really get solved. They come together and they fall apart. Love and gratitude are not a promise of certainty. There really isn't any solid ground in life. Love and gratitude are what give you wings. So when things fall apart and you get thrown out of the nest, you can fly.
Just for clarification, I did tell her it was going to be alright many times. I didn't know what I was talking about, but I did tell her. Even as she cleaned our house. A lot. I didn't probably prepare as much as I should have, but I'm just going to say what I feel, and I think that's what's best. I never thought I would be diagnosed until I was. I never thought it would be me. Till it was. So you're sitting in the hospital room and they're telling you it's cancer. It was Monday after prom and I had just turned 15. I was hurting, I was tired, and I was vomiting. Certain parents thought that I might be hungover from prom. Clarification, I was not. So that morning my mom rushed me to the doctors, and she sent us to the hospital with a referral. They came back with our scans, and they said they didn't know exactly what it was, but it was probably cancer. And I called my best friend, and we cried, and my mom cried, and we all cried. And then I told her it was going to be alright. But I didn't know. No one knows. It's the not knowing. It's the unexpected. I always thought that cancer didn't happen until you were older, until you were old. I thought I was immune. It couldn't happen to me. I watched my grandma go through cancer twice. I watched her be strong. I watched her pull through each time. And I knew I could do the same. I knew that I could be strong. And I knew I could do what she did. And I knew that if my grandma could do that, and if my aunt could do that, and if every survivor could do that, then I could too. Because it's not about the what ifs, it's about the after. It's not about what I'm going through right now, it's about what I'm going to pull through. What's going to happen after I pull through. It's about the high school graduation. It's about the first drive out of the driveway on my own. It's not about the chemo. It's not about the surgeries. All of that's just a battle scar, as I like to say. It's not anything that shows me down. It didn't beat me. And when I needed my family most, they were there. My grandfather sent me a heart every day. To make sure I knew he loved me. My family would text me all the time. When you sit in the hospital and it's so lonely, I'm sure many of you know, and someone comes and visits you, that's what family's about. And that's what I got from it, was the real true meaning of family. Thank you.
Before you leave the stage, Theo and Darcy, Ken, I'd like to just give you a little thank you for coming and sharing your stories with us today. We greatly appreciate you.
To recognize that right. Thank you very much. Again, tough act to follow. So we'd like to recognize our cancer survivors. Survivors should stand when they are asked and then head over toward the arch to receive a carnation. At that point, please wait at the arch for all others to join the survivors lap. And based off of some of Melissa's speech about your voice being the thing, we are going to do the first lap to a song by Sugarland called Stand Up and Use Your Voice.
got this in the mail from the Red Cross, and it's from the President of the United States. And I do a lot of stuff for the Red Cross, and I do a lot of stuff for the Shriners, and I do a lot of stuff here for Relay, for cancer, and for a good cause. Hope they raise a lot of money this year again, and they're doing pretty good. I got a gift certificate and a plaque.
No matter what our experience with cancer, we all share the hope that we will one day live in a world where our children, their children, will never hear the words, "You have cancer." Our track is illuminated by luminaria. Each one represents a treasured relationship that they represent people, each with a name and a story to tell. They are our mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, our sons, daughters, friends, our loved ones. We love these people, we remember them, we celebrate them, and we fight back against the disease for them. As the luminaria glow throughout the night, they represent our shared vision for a cancer-free future. Less cancer and more birthdays. Again, I ask for complete silence during the reading of the names.
Okay, so we're going to start with in honor of, and again, as always, I apologize if we mispronounce a name. There's a lot of pages here, so. Okay. Suzanne Alberico, Dave Allaire, Charlene Allen, Wayne Allen, Helen Ambrosini, Helen Catherine Ambrosini, Alyssa Audette, Stephen Bailey, Dorothy Barnow, Eric Barnow, Ralph Barnow, Jean Barrows, Diane Benware, Heather Wing Bierschenk, Charlotte Bishop, Mary Blanchard, Matt Bodette, Dana Buska, Trudy Booth, Bruce Bowman, Dolores Briggs, Corrine Brown, Sharon M. Brown, Michael Bruce, Mike Bruce, William Bruce, Jim Bryant, Mary Bugnacki, Christina Bushy, Robert Cady, Kelly Coyne Campoli, Jen Canales, Terry Carrington, Will Casella, Evie Cashman, Vicky Cassant, Gloria Chandler, Jean Childers, Mike Seggo, Caroline Clark, David Clark, John T. Cole, Lissa Cross, Bob Chet.
Meredith Ward Dana, Kelly Danielle, Kelly M. Danielle, Fran Davis, Mike Davis, Dawn Devlin, Doug Dewey, Missy Dilly, Harriet McCartney Duke, Debbie Erickson, Cindy Evans, Rodney Everts, Art Feely, Polly Flannery, Melissa Fox, Mom Patty Frankel, Tamara Gessler, Carrie Sire Gilbert, Donald Gadet, Ed Gould, Bernie Graham, Hazel Griffin, Susan Griffin, Carl Haas, Dave Haas, Hillary Hansen, Robert J. Hardina Jr., Mickey Heyer, Alan Hooker, Linda Hooker, Seth Howland, Becky Hughes, Donna Iverson, Robin Jackson, Fran Slater Jaworski, Judy Johannes, Dave Johnson, Sherry Johnson, Debbie Keyser, Roberta Kaminsner, Matt Kent, Emily Kissip, Kent Knapp, Thomas Comerlin, Helen Lamb.
Rudy Lanzia, Joe Lapointe, Charles Laporte, Chuck Laporte, Amy Lewis, Owen Lieberman, Roger Lord, Randy Lunn, Pat Slater Luth, Dante Magro, Donna Melwicki, Robin Mallory, Pearl Marcombe, Bill McDonough, Nicole McDuff, Paul Mead, Betsy Nemo, Sherry Merrill, Anita Morgan, Donna Cole Miller, Peggy Mullins, Hayes Nabosny, Bill Nolan, Giselle Palin, Dean Parker, Jackie Parks, Gary Pellistri, Tammy Landon, sorry the page fell, Phillips, Tammy Phillips, Bob Pollock, Pete Powers, Gail Quinville, Gary Raymond, Teresa Rada, Mary Reynolds, Wally Richard, Aunt Angie Rivers, Nancy Rivers, Rosemary Robershard, Samantha Rouse Roma, Nancy Rooker, Dennis and Carol Ross, Helen Rounds, Tracy Russell, Karen Sabatassa,
George Saunders, Anne Marie Seeley, Jen Senecal, Erin Seward, David Shaw, Linda Fish Shed, Ted Shalosky, Marlene Smith, Roger Smith, Martha St. Amour, Ray Standeffer, Jen Stanley, Sarah Johnston Stephen, Michael Stevens, Peggy Stevens, Crystal Stone, Silent Survivors, All Survivors, Rachel Twall, Steve White, Joyce Willard, John Williams, Karen Williams, Thomas Williams, Tom Williams, Michelle Zulu, Bobby and Aileen, the Camp Rising Sun family, CB, Crab Cakes, Jameson, Jerry, KWD, Brugger, Rum, Sunny, survivors of Team Neshabe School and friends. We will now start the names in memory of those we have lost. Tiffany Aber, Jason Allen, Charlene Alice, Gordy Anderson, Terry Anderson,
Garland Andrews, Nancy Andrews, Deborah Argent Weber, Zamara Austin, Guy Minor Babb, Lisa Bagley, Philip Baldwin, Jamie Barker, Krista Brown Barlow, Nick Basile, Diana Bassett, Shirley Beeman, Faith Ballou, Bill Beer, Bernard Bell, James Bell, Leonard M. Bell Sr., Wayne Benware, Patricia Blanchett, Lena Bohannon, Michael Boys, Edward Buska, Janice Buska, Chris Booz, Betsy Bradley, Frank Breslin, Meryl Pat Briggs, Stephanie Tuffy Brizendine, Jane Congdon Brockman, John and Wanda Brodacki, Nicholas Brown, Betty Bruce, Jane Bruce, Cheryl Bryant, Lisa Buck, Henry Burgess, Bart Burke, Uncle Bunny Bernard Bushy, Patricia Bushy Big Mama, Rebecca Bassino, Grammy Calling, Chester Carrera Sr., Julie Carrington, Donald Cassant,
Sandy Catterton, Janet Chamberlain, Lyndon Chapin, Sylvia Chapin, June Chapman, Ken Chevalier, Sally Chevalier, Hilda Choquette, Anna Steele Christmas, Jim Clifford, Dr. Richard Coleman, James Cologne Sr., Cecil Colvin, Clyde Colvin, Betty Conlin, Patty Cook, Mickey Cooper, Diane Corey, Tom Corey, Bobby Cox, Robert Bubba Cox, Evelyn Crone, Audrey Cull, Cliff Currier, Dick Currier, Scott Currier, Howard Delorme, May Demers, Marcel Dennis, Alice Davino, Donald Ducharme Sr., Harriet McCartney Duke, Marjorie Dunn Young, Edward Egan, Ira Bud Earl, Violet Earl, John Eder, Kathy Eder, Jack Edgerton, Judy Rogers Emerson, George Ujair, Dave Farr, Richard Ferguson, David Field, Gladys Fish,
Scott Fitzgerald, Deborah Flanders, Diane Flood, Greg Forrest, Mike Fowler, Scott Dalton Fryer, Shannon Furioni, Donald Gallipo, Patricia Gallipo, Stella Gallipo, Jim Gamble, Joe Garrigan, Patricia Gavin, Judy Getcha, Lisa Genovese, Vita Gio, Mary Gill, Aunt Ginny, Maria Gomez, Belina Congdon Goodwin, James Francis Xavier Gordon II, Hazel Gove, Norbert Grandchamp, Jacob Matthew Gregg, Virginia Gregg, Sharon Griffin, Frank J. Haas, Frank T. Haas, Lyle Hadley, Ron Hance, Allie Harrington, Jane Harrington, John Harrington, Donna Harris, Adam Harrison, Kevin Hazen, Pete Hebler, Lori Hickey, Joan Hill, Jean Hogue, Rose Hoffman, Sean Holden, Shelley Hooker, Francis C. Horan, Robert E. Horan Sr.
Bear Bailey Howland, Bryn Hughes, John Hurley, Bob Iovino, Howard Iverson, Zaza Yankowski, George Johnson, Catherine Johnson, Stephen Johnson, Stephen L. Johnson, Nancy Johnston, Ruth Johnston, Tom Johnston II, Diane Jones, Luthera Jones, Janice Joyner, Phil Carney, Gloria Kehoe, Kathy Keith, Lori Keith, Martin Tubby Keith, Lolly Kendrick, Irene Kilmer, Murray Knapp, Barbara Kupferberg, Susan Kupferberg, Nicole Lane, Linda Langway, Carol Lapine, Marjorie Laporte, Philip Laporte, Sam LaRock Sr., Jeffrey A. Larson, Marilyn Laughlin, Papa Laughlin, Pearl LaVictory, Pat Lawrence, Sandy Lebo, Vaughn Lebo, Alvina Leager, Terrence Leager, John Lemire, John Linkus, Krista Quindeville Little,
Amanda Ray Laurie, April Losby, Luigi Minolfi, Judy Marshall, Elise Martin, Chuck Madison, Carl E. Maxim, Teresa McDonough, Marie McDuff, David Michael McNamara, Jane Mead, Kenneth Mead, Kit Mead, Martin Mead, Joseph Marone Papa, Jerry McGlory, Clara Miller, Donald Miller, Daisy Morey, Charlotte Morris, Charlotte K. Morris, Rosie Mossy, Charles Mazinski, Edward Mazinski, Eugene Mazinski, Kazimierz Mazinski, Wally Mazinski, Inta Moylan, Laura Mulligan, Charlotte Murray, Francis Murray, Thomas Murray, Patty Beery Mascalo, Pat Nelson, Lori Nolan, Dorothy North, Richard North, Nora Wachowski, Charlie O. Oskankowski, Sarah Oliver, Edmund Ouellette, Mrs. Pagliacco, Yvonne Patterson, Hank Pash,
Barbara Pease, Betty Pelkey, Ada Perry, Ruth Marie Perry, Charlie Phelps, Joe Phillips, Case Phillips, Mary Phillips, Rod Phillips, Florence Piro, Mary Beth Pizzanelli, Dale Plankster, Kathy Posabuck, Robert Porro Jr., Robert Porro Sr., Armand Poulin, B. Pryor, Barbara Prunier, Stella Pungin, John J. Quinn, Linda Quinn, Virginia Rapalji, Marlene Razanowski, Robert Reed, Arlene Reynolds, Ronald Reynolds, Ronald R. Reynolds Sr., Lou Richard, Leo Richards, Jennifer Ripley, Robert Ripley, Russell Ripley, Sylvia Rivers, Diana Robinson, Gerald Robinson, Martha Rochelle, Chris Rogers, Charlie Jolly Rogers, Ken Rogers, Bruce Rounds, Wendell Roos, Robert Royce, Chrissy Ruiz, Maureen Fish Sabatasso, Gary F. Salmon.
Wilma Saltis, Wayne Sawyer, Audrey Scarborough, Norma Scarborough, Billy Scarangella, David Schmidt, Richard Seeley, Pat Serrani, Randall Shannon, Barb Shaw, Wayne D. Shaw Sr., Robert Shepard, Phyllis Shortsleeves, Sherry Cinders, Dan Slater, Jody Slater, Joe Slater, Steve Slater, Thomas J. Slater, Tom C. Slater, Carol Sleckis, Dennis Smith, Janet Smith, Wendell H. Smith Jr., Stub Wendell Smith Jr., Chester Smith, Carl Smithel, Kristen Sosha, Deb Spear, Evelyn Spooner, Claire Sporer, Debbie Corey St. Pierre, Kay St. Pierre, Henry D. Stone Jr., Eunice Strayhouse, Stephen Sturgis, Patricia Taylor, Ernest Taylor Sr., Frank Tier, Joseph Tier, Peter Tier, Robert Tier, Lori Thomas, Lori M. Thomas,
Delmar Tift, Warren Tift, Nick Tizio, Pete Tomos, Margaret Torrey, Doris Town, Irene Trainer, Duke Trombley, Larry Trombley, Maureen Turner, Bob Tominski, Loretta Wade Mama, Dolly Wallace, James J. Walsh, Kathleen Ward, Mays Warriors, Floyd Wetmore, Hazel Wetmore, Mary Lethbridge Wheeler, Jerry Gerald Woolley, Alan Wilcox, Tina Wiles, Hunky Harold C. Wilkins III, Diana D. Williams, Judy Williams, Margaret Williams, Patricia Williams, Mary Jane Wing, Donna Wolfe, Shirley Woods, Amy Worcester, Echo Wovakowski, Donna Wyman, Scott Yamashita, Ken Sunny Young, Shirley Zura, Buster, Camp Rising Sun Angels, Daisy, Nancy, Lisa, Lori, Scott, deceased members of Team Neshabie School and Friends, Dr. Maureen, Dwight, Ev, Evelyn,
Ginny, Grandpa David S., Laura, Mary, Rose, Shadow, Shirley, Sparky, those we have lost, Wanda.